without further ado, let's start. So let's start. So the platform that we'll be using for coding would be Microsoft MakeCode Arcade. So in this platform, we can build any console-style games that we can think of. And today we'll be, of course, making a game and using Microsoft MakeCode Arcade. And today we will be having four objectives. So stage one, we will be creating the player, the sprite. So it's the object they're going to move in the game. And we have the background. And we're also going to provide some controls for the sprite. And for stage two, we'll be creating food. And the player can pick up the food and the food can regenerate. And with stage three, we'll be having some boundaries for the player. And then we'll have a score system and a win condition for the game. And stage four, if we have time, then we'll be creating a lose condition. But that would be a challenge that depends on whether we have time or not. Okay, so I think it's important to have a brief idea of how a computer program works. So all programs are made up of three components. So we have an input, we have function, and we have output. So let's say we have like press start on microwave. So you know what's a microwave, right? So it's the thing that you use to reheat food. So there's a start button, let's say, so that's the input. And a function would be to check whether the door of the microwave is closed. Then we have the output, which is to start the microwave. So one more example for that would be to press the close door button in the lift. So if you go to the lift, then there's like close door button. So that would obviously close the door. And then the function would be to check where the door is obstructed. So if there's some obstacles. And okay, after we went through the function, we know that there's no obstacles, then we can close the door. So that would be the output of the program. Okay. So let's look at the user interface for the MakeCode Arcade that we'll be using today. So here in the blue box over here, we have the input. So you see there's like this control button. We have A, we have B, we have like the start thing. We have, so we have this over here, start. We have like sounds, A, B, control, whatever. And over here we have like a list of possible functions that we can use to produce the program. And over here we have a blank space that we can use to pull the blocks from this list over here to generate the program, obviously. And to run the program, you can see the output over here on the black screen. Okay, so I hope it makes sense. Okay, then so here I'm going to introduce a concept called procedural execution. So code. So here we have an example of a code. So if I just we have an example of a code. So it always runs from top to bottom, and it does so really fast. So over here, if we look at this code, so on start means to start the program, then it's going to start to execute. So step one, set background color to red. And then the second step would be set the background color to yellow. So over here, after executing the code, I have a question for you guys. What will be the output that we're going to see? So over here, so what's the output that we're going to be seeing? Is it going to be a red background, or is it going to be a yellow background? Or is it going to be a mix of both? So can you guys just put your answer in the chat box so I can kind of see what's going on? So yeah, just type whether it's red, or is it yellow, or is it like a mix of both? So yellow, B. Okay, do we have more answers? B. Okay, that's a lot of answers. So let's take a look. Answer is yellow, but let's take a look. Okay, so we have this over here. If you guys can still see my screen. So let's start the program over here. And indeed, it's going to be yellow because the computer produces the code really quickly. So what we can do to see the red background as well is that we can have a pause function over here, which we can drag it and put it here. Okay, and now let's execute the code again. indeed, we're going to see red first, and then we have yellow. And of course, we can always adjust the time over here. So here, the time that I set was 1 second. So that's why after 1 second of showing red, then you can see yellow. So, yep. So I hope that makes sense. Well done. So, okay, we have, so let's move on to stage one, which is we're actually coding our first game. So let's start by creating a background and the player. So we'll be using Make-Code Arcade as I mentioned before. So first of all, you have to open the link in your browser, which I'm going to send the link out in the chat box, so you guys can just. Right, if you guys can just. Right, so but actually, before we code the game, let me show you how the game actually works and what you're going to expect to see. Okay, so it goes like this. And so over here, we have the game. Yep. So if you see, there's a duck over here, and then we have the apple. So what we're going to do is that in this game, we're going to have the player, and then we have the apple. So the duck has to basically catch all the apples. And then you see there's like a score system, and eventually if you collect the apples, then you're going to win. So this is the game that we're going to be creating today. And but we're going to guide you step by step, so that's not a problem. Okay, so, oh yes, and if you guys have any questions, during the call, then you guys can always refer to the Google Meet link. Yes, Walter is shared. Thank you. So, okay. Anyways, let's start. All right. So over here, we will be having this. So I have this open in your browser, and then we can create a new project. So let's do that right away. So we go up to make code. Then you see there's a new project. So if we press that, then you can just name your project, right? So you can call it like CNY game, or you can call it lesson one, whatever. Okay. Okay, so we have a question from Bethany. Yes, Bethany. Do you have any questions?
I can't find the app.
You can find an app. Okay, so if you look at the chat box, let me share this link again. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. I'm afraid. Sorry, it's over here. All right, so this one, if you press this link, then you will be guided to this website, which I'm sharing on the screen. All right, can you get the link? Okay. So yeah, if you use that URL, you'll be getting to this website. Then we can.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So new project, and then new project, we'll name our project. So this is our first lesson. We can call it lesson one, or you can call it like CNY game, anything. Okay, so we're just going to call it lesson one. All right, over here. All right, then if we look at the slides again. All right, so over here, we want to set a background image for the game. As you saw just now, we have like a CNY theme kind of thing. So so we're going to be doing that. And how do we do that is that we will be obviously dragging the on start thing. So over here we have this. So what that means is that when we start the program, what's inside this on start tool will be executed. So okay, so let's go to the scene right away. And okay, so we have a set background image. And then, okay. And then if you see, there's like this gray box over here. So, and then you will be gallery to this page where you can see there's the editor, there's a gallery, and there's a my assets. Then if you choose gallery, you should be able to find this part, this list of possible given backgrounds. Then you're going to choose the CNY background. So let me do it right away. Okay. So if you see this gray box over here, just press it. Right, you see there's like an editor, so you can draw if you wish to, but of course we don't have time for that. So we will be using the gallery, and then and then after that you can press done. So over here, so that's the bottom right corner. Okay, and then okay. So after you add the backgrounds, should be like this. So as you can see over here in the output, there's the background, and then okay, and then we can create a sprite, which is the player for this. Sorry, there's some problems. Wait, let me share my screen again. Sorry, there's some problems. All right, so over here. So all right, so over here you see that's the output that you get after you follow the steps. And then you can create a sprite over here. So sprite is like the player that we're going to be creating for this moment. So over here, if you go to sprites, which is over here, all right, then you want to choose the first one, which is under create. So that's set my sprite to sprite, and then the gray box account player. So we want to choose that one. And then we just want to drag this right below the background image to CNY. Okay, and then over here you see there's another gray box in it. So what that means is that you can draw, or you can choose from the gallery in terms of. I can't click the gray card to find the gallery. How do you do it? Okay. All right, so over here you see there's this part where you press the gray part, and then there's editor, gallery, and my assets. And then over here we'll be choosing gallery. Okay. So gallery, there should be a list of different. All right, so you see there's a list of items over here. I'm not sure if you can see it. But over here we can basically choose. So you see. So let's say we want to choose. Okay, this item. So if you guys can just press that, and then maybe you can just find the item that you like. So if I just look at the slideshow over here, you see there's a lot of choices. And okay, wait a second, I have to look at gallery. Right, so you guys can just choose it first. So the steps will be pretty similar to how we choose the CNY. So it's not very responsive over here. Okay, so we have a list of different characters here, as you can see. So for this project, we're going to choose the duck. We're choosing a duck. So yeah, so we just press the duck. Which okay. Okay, and then you just do this part, and then you have the player over here. Okay, okay, cool. So all right, then you can, after you make the sprite, then you can obviously move the sprite. And to move it, you have to go to controllers, so over here. And then you can choose move my sprite with buttons. Okay, move my sprite with buttons. So it's the first item you can see in the controller list. Okay. So yeah, so if you just drag it below the sprite. Okay. Yes, and let's test this out by let's running this code. So run the code, you have to refer to this block over here. And then now if you use the arrows, right, then obviously you can move the sprite. Okay. So over here, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna give you guys move on. Question, if you have time, obviously you can try to attempt the question. Okay, so if you guys refer to the link that I sent to the chat room, that should be the checkpoint for this stage. So essentially, in this link, you would be getting the code that we are making up to this point. Okay, so if you can't finish it just yet, just use that link and continue to work on your project. Okay, so So you cannot control your sprite. So let's create the food for the sprite to consume, right? Okay, so there's a problem. So the sprite can escape the screen, and let's look at what's happening. Okay. So if you look at the screen, right, and then if my sprite moves, sorry, 1 second. 1 second. Okay, so sorry for that. All right, so okay, so if you kind of move your screen, move your sprite, then you see that sprite can escape the screen, right? And that's not good because then you'll get lost and then you can't find it anymore if it's too far away. So but there's a way to tackle this problem, and that's called a boundary. So a boundary over here is to use to keep the sprites within the screen on the game controller. So okay, so what we have to do is that if you go to the sprite tab over here, then you should be able to find this one, set my sprite to stay in screen on. Okay, and then you just want to choose that and then pull it here and make sure to turn it on. Okay, and so it's like this. So now let's execute the code again and let's see what's happening. And now you see it's kind of like locked within the screen, which is good, so that the sprite will not disappear. Okay.
Wait, I have a question.
Sorry. If you have any questions, you can refer to Google Meet. So that's over here. Right. So for the food, okay, so we have to create a new sprite for the food. So this is a snake game. So if you played this before, you know that the snake has to catch the apple, which is the food. And this food is not controlled by any player because as a player, you're controlling the snake and you're not controlling the apple, right? So that's why in the snake game, this is a type of food which we have to declare. So if you see over here in the sprites, and you see there's this one, then you can obviously choose it again. Then what you can do is that you can put it here. And then now over here, you see there's a player, right? If you click it, you can see there's projectile, food, enemy. There's a lot of things. So we're going to call this food. So that doesn't move. And as a player, you're just controlling the duck, right? So, okay. And just like how we deal with the duck, we're going to rename the, sorry, we're going to make the apple. So if you go to the gallery and then you see there should be like, sorry, there should be like a list of different cycle and the background. So so if you just try to press the gray button, yes, we have a lot of food to choose from. And let's choose the apple actually. Okay, and then we just want to save it. Okay, and this should be it. Yes, and also you want to rename your variables, your sprite to a name that you can recognize. So if you just press this drop down list, you see there's a rename variable, right? And we'll call this apple. So we can do this with this duck as well. So we can call this duck. Right, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. So now it's your turn. So I want you guys to add a boundary for the sprite. So to add a boundary, you have to use the stay in screen command. And then you want to create a sprite for the food. So it's the apple. And you want to change it to the type food and to rename the sprite as well. And also we have a challenge question for you. So you want to find a way to make the food smaller than the sprite. So the tip for you would be like you have to draw your own food, but you want to do this question after you finished these 3 tasks if you have time. So I'll be giving you guys another 5 minutes. So if you're done, then please type two in the chat box. So just like just now, but this time type 2. Yep. Yeah, okay, so maybe 2 more minutes and then we will be moving on. Yeah, do use the Google Meet link that was sent previously to ask any questions. We have another teacher over here to help you. Okay, so I've just shared the checkpoint 2, the link to checkpoint 2. So if you just look at that link, if you can't follow, then you can use that progress and to work on your following checkpoints. So over here, I'm just gonna hand over to Shiloh to continue the lesson because yeah. So I'll be unsharing my screen and Shiloh will be sharing his screen, I believe. So Shiloh, if you can. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are gonna introduce the if block. So the code inside this block, inside here, will only run when the condition block is true, where the condition block is the hexagon, which shows true. Okay, so if today is Saturday, like in the condition, then it will splash print hour of code. And when it is, so today is Saturday, right? So the output will be hour of code. When if today is Monday or Tuesday, then it will not show hour of code. Okay, so I have a question for you guys. So what is the output of this? Please type in the chat what you think. Will it print hello world or not? Okay, so most of you have replied, and I'm gonna demonstrate now that you are correct, as there will be no hello world in the screen because 1 is not larger than 3. Okay. Okay, and then we're gonna introduce the forever block. So the code inside the forever block will not run, will run forever until you stop the program. It will repeat forever. Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna do this. Okay, so we're gonna start to make this so that the food you make will regenerate once the duck eats it. Okay, so we're gonna put forever in the code, and then we're gonna put an if statement inside it. So you find the if statement in the logic part of the tab and the forever in the loops tab. Right, we're gonna drag it out and put it inside. Right, you put this condition into the hexagon here to make it so that when the duck touches the apple, you will do something. Okay, here. The overlap hexagon will check if the duck and the apple are touching each other or not. Right, so the food should disappear when the player eats or collects the food and reappear in a random position. So for simplicity, we would change the location of the food when they overlap, so we will reduce the amount of work we should do. We need to do. Okay. You find the set position box in the Sprite tab, which will make the food change its location randomly. And okay, I'm gonna demonstrate to you now. Right, we're gonna set the apple's position to a random position. And for that, we're gonna use the Math tab to do so. Put the pick random 0 to 10 block into the X position and Y position. You need to set the numbers to a large difference so that the apple will not just stay in a central area, and which will make the game very easy. So how do we determine the range of numbers in the pick random? We should think the screen as a coordinate grid where the foot can be any point from 0, 0, which is here, this area, to this 161.20, which is this area. Wait, no, 0, 0 is here, and 161.20 is here. However, it's not good if we put the foot in the end of the axis because it will some parts of it will not show like here. So the advisable range is 10 to 150 here. So you should write 10, 150 for both the pick random coordinates for the apple. Right. So now it's your turn to do so. And once you finish the the overlapping ducks and apples, then you should just type 3 in the chat. Oh, wait, oh, sorry. Wait, it's 10 to 110 for the Y coordinate. Yeah, so that it does not go too low. Yeah. 10 to 110. Right, I'm gonna demonstrate now. So when you touch, the duck touches the apple, it will change its location. We will start at 1 to 2 minutes. So you can like go to here and do the parts that you remaining parts that you didn't finish later. Okay, so now we're gonna start stage 3. Okay, the scoring system is if score system, you go to the info bar and select the set score to block, and then drag it to the on start block. And you can see that you are correct when you see the top right section. You can see the 0. Right. Set score to 0. Put it on top of the code inside. And you can see that here there's a 0 in the game. Okay, so we want to make it that when the duck eats the apple, you get 1 point. In the info section again, you can find the change score by 1 here. Okay, put it inside here. So that when you eat the apple, you get 1 point. 1 point. Or, yeah. Let me just wait. Oh yeah, because however the score starts at 1 instead of 0 because the sprite and the food spawns at the same place on the when you start the game. Yeah. So we will need to set the initial position of the duck and the fruit so that they don't overlap when the game starts. Yeah. So you put set my sprite position to x0, y0 twice, and then you block. And then you put duck and apple on each one of the set position blocks, right? You can put the I'm gonna put it in the duck in the center and the apple to the top right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you see that the score is 0 and then the duck is in the middle and the apple is in top right, which is good. Okay, now we're gonna go to the winning condition. Every game should have a way to win, and for this game, we will win at when the score is equal to 20 points. So to start, bring another if section and connect to the bottom of this if duck overlaps with apple. That we can say that the score when the score is equal to 20, we win. Okay, here's the comparison block, and then you put it inside the if. Right, so the score is here in the info tab, and then 20. Right. Score is info, and you type 20 in the right. Okay, so finally you drag and game over lock in the game section, and then you put it inside, and then we make it so that we win when we get 20 score and not lose when we get it. Okay, I'm gonna demonstrate to you now. So right. Okay, so we win. Yeah. So right now, the completed code is that when you eat the food, when the duck eats the food, the score changes by 1, and a new food appears afterwards in a random location. And when your score is 20, you win. So now it's your turn to do what I did just now. And if you're done, press click for type 4 in the chat. And for the challenge question, can you make the score increase faster if the player eats the apple faster? And can you create an obstacle that so that when your duck eats it, a point will be deducted? Yeah, there's a checkpoint for this stage, and we're gonna end shortly because we don't have much time left. We only have 5 minutes left. So I'm just gonna show you the challenge, and if you can if you can. And for the challenge, you should create a loose condition for the game, and you can, if you can set up a time limit so that when the player only can't eat 20 food within the time limits, the duck will lose. And you use these 3 blocks in order to do so. Right. Go to the Google Meet link to which is, yeah. Yeah, go to the Google Meet link and the instructor there will help you. Right. I'm also going to share evaluation for you so that you can make the following sessions better for people. Yeah. Please fill up the form in the chat if you're done.